Hello, happy Monday. We're laughing already.
Hello. We are.
Yes.
There's a
There's
silicon chip inside my head's gone into overload, like.
is it gin o'clock or something? On?
It's been gin o'clock since about six o'clock, I think.
Ah, right, okay. I did wonder. Did
What's
wonder.
wrong with you in a clock, like?
Tastes like pigging perfume. That's why it's
I
wrong
am
with gin
here.
o'clock.
Look, hey, I'm drinking to celebrate the vape.
Fair enough. I'd like to welcome Dutch Vapor to Mondays because apparently this is a new intro. DD's missing on the drums. So he clearly never watched Mondays before.
This is true.
Ooh. Doof, 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 dooga, dooga. There you are, cliffhanger.
Good night.
Oh, good show, guys. Right, see you later.
Yep, that's it. God, time don't fly, didn't it? That's an hour and a half already. Yeah. Oh, we're kidding. We are kidding. Having a little joke.
Yes.
We got stuff coming
You
up,
might
and
do. I'm off. Cheer up.
toodaloo. We do have stuff coming up. It's this stuff here.
Coming up tonight on Vape Trials TV, Demetrius looks at the Joyetech AIO. Mark Crewy's here and he's going to look at the Punchbox P1 by True Mods. Matt Gerrish looks at the Equinox Dripper. And Marco checks out some of the news stories from the last week. All this and more tonight on Vape Trials TV.
Well, if you want some time to do my... Oh, we're... Right. Sorry. You caught us there. Discussing behind the scenes things. Right, so as you can see from that, we've got some new stuff, we've got some vapey stuff, we've got some more vapey stuff, and some vapey stuff. There may be vapor involved.
There may be.
Should we get the new stuff, though? Because there is new stuff, and we should do the new stuff.
News. Play the sting.
Okay. Oh, yeah, the sting. I forgot about the sting. There we are.
No, actually, the sting's at the beginning, so you don't need to play it.
Oh, we don't want to sting twice, then.
No.
God, all right, then.
So on the BBC website, e-cigarettes partial ban on use in public places wins AM support. The Welsh Government has won support from some Plaid Cymru AMs for the measure after ministers watered down the ban to places where children are likely to be present. There are worries that the devices may re-normalise smoking, but critics say there is not enough evidence for the measure. A Liberal Democrat bid to scrap the e-cigarette ban failed on Tuesday, and the final vote on Public Health Bill takes place next week. In fact, that will be this week. If the bill is passed, then the e-cigarette ban could come in by spring 2017 at the earliest. The Welsh Liberal Democrat leader Kirsty Williams told Tuesday's Senedd debate, "I have been inundated by people in my own constituency and across Wales who have successfully kicked lifelong smoking habits with the use of this device." The Lib Dem bid was supported by the Welsh Conservatives. Darren Miller, Tory Shadow Health Minister, said, "There is more evidence of harm than from smoke from a piece of burnt toast than there is evidence of harm from the use of an e-cigarette." And of course we saw Andrew Davies last week on this show talking to Ridian about his objections and his party's objections. So the e-cig ban locations, schools or education establishments, so that'd be colleges, universities, the like, places where food is served, hospitals apart from designated areas, and are they going to designate any areas? Who knows? Because you can't smoke on many hospital grounds now. Premises which provide childcare. So maybe if you're a childminder in Wales, you won't be able to use your e-cigarette in your house. Does that only mean when children are present in the house, or does it mean at all? Also, public and school transport vehicles, transport hubs, shops, except specialist tobacconist and e-cigarette retailers, and entertainment, including theatres and cinemas. Yes. Now, Let's go down a little bit more there. So the ban on e-cigarettes in enclosed public spaces, 4 is the BMA, no surprise there. Public Health Wales, local health boards, directors of public health, some councils, and the Centre for Tobacco Control Research US. Okay. And against ASH, Cancer Research, the Royal College of Physicians Wales, Tenevus, Decipher, Cardiff University, UK for Tobacco and Alcohol Studies, British Heart Foundation, Wales. A lot of high-flying people there against the ban in enclosed public spaces, including ASH and Cancer Research. I mean, come on. If Cancer Research are against the ban, and they are the people who research cancer, which is caused a lot of the time from smoking, I wonder how many of these here have got massive tobacco and pharma interests in their pension funds. I wonder. Maybe it's about time we started to submit some Freedom of Information Act requests for that. Strangely enough, look at this here. Pubs that do not serve food are specifically excluded, as are sex establishments. Go figure that one. What is a sex establishment in Wales? Have they got legalised brothels or something? I don't know. Casinos, betting shops, adult gaming centres, premises with a bingo licence, so you can still go and use your vape and play bingo, which you can in Barnsley, strangely enough. Specialist retailers of e-cigarettes and pharmacy consulting rooms. The bill also includes measures on licensing of tattooists and for councils to produce a local toilets strategy. Now, how on earth is that part of the same piece of legislation? They've just segued in the e-cigarette stuff. But there you go. So moving on from that, this is another story on the Beeb about this ban. And the Welsh Health Minister has denied that there is a ban. Mark Drakeford says this.
Nothing which we propose in this bill prevents an e-cigarette from being used anywhere a conventional cigarette can be used. Anywhere you can use a conventional cigarette, you will be able to use one of these devices as well. There is no such thing as a ban in this bill, as I've heard that word several times this afternoon. There is no ban at all. If you are a cigarette user and you would rather use a nicotine inhaling device, then anywhere you use that cigarette, you will be able to use that nicotine inhaling device as well.
So there you go. That's what Mr. Drakeford has said. Yes. Interesting. We'll talk about that more in the studio. Moving on. Ontario bans e-cigarettes, vaporizers where smoking already prohibited. Another place that's doing the same thing. E-cigarette and medical marijuana users in Ontario will soon be banned from smoking or vaporizing anywhere regular cigarettes are prohibited, unless the Liberal government changed its mind. Again. Premier Kathleen Wynne thinks the new rules are common sense. We have made a determination that smoking, whatever it is, whether it's vaping, whether it's medical marijuana, whether it's cigarettes, that there should be restrictions on that, she said Thursday. And so the rules will apply to marijuana, to medical marijuana, to vaping, as they do to cigarettes. This is just crazy, isn't it? The new rules come months after the Liberal government backtracked on electronic cigarette regulations just one day after an exemption for medical marijuana came to light. The e-cigarette rules were supposed to come into effect January the 1st to ban their use in enclosed public spaces, workplaces and certain outdoor areas. But after the public learned of medical marijuana exemption, and it meant users could vaporize in restaurants, at work or on playgrounds, the government put the rules on hold and went back to the drawing board. This is just crazy. This is totally crazy. The links will be available for you to look at these stories. Up next, Selling e-cigarettes remains illegal after appeal dismissed at Perth's Supreme Court. And this is our friend Vince Van Heerden, who we've had on Vape Trials TV a couple of times now. Way back in 2014, we had him on Vapor Scene talking about the issues that had happened where he had been raided and all his stock was removed in bin bags. And he's now lost his appeal. Judge Michael Buss heard the appeal brought forward by Vincent Van Heerden, who was the first acquitted of selling e-cigarettes, then convicted after an appeal by the Health Department, but his latest appeal has now failed. The landmark case had been playing out in the West Australian court system for the past 5 years. Van Heerden was found guilty of breaching the Tobacco Products Control Act in April 2014, which made Western Australia the first jurisdiction in the world to outlaw the sale of e-cigarettes. He was convicted under the state's Tobacco Products Control Act, which prohibits the sale of any food, toy or other product that is not a tobacco product but designed to resemble one. Absolutely crazy. An appeal to the conviction was lodged by Van Heerden in July 2014 after launching an online crowdfunding campaign to finance his appeal, from which more than 100,000 Australian dollars had been raised. Speaking outside the court following the judgment, Van Heerden said he was shocked by the decision and would consider taking the matter to High Court, despite saying he would probably have to file for bankruptcy. He's been ordered to pay legal costs involved in the case. The whole thing in Australia is just absolutely crazy, and we'll be talking about it in the studio. Finally, I've got to touch on this. I didn't particularly want to, but I'm going to have to. Cornwall Council, get house in order warning as shops fail vaping tests. This is a story relating to Cornwall Council's trading standards, who have been into 14 shops and found that 6 out of the 14 were willing to sell to underage people. So they sent in an under 18 volunteer to do a test purchase, and in 6 of the 14 instances they came out with an e-cig. I'm not going to read the whole story. The link is going to be put in chat and on the web page in YouTube, as are all the news stories. And that, my friends, was the news.
Yes, that was some news that I gleaned from around the world via the web at the weekend. And Mr. Drakeford, I'd just like to give you the wiki definition of the word ban. And that is to officially or legally prohibit something. Synonyms for ban include prohibit, forbid, veto, proscribe, disallow, outlaw, make illegal, embargo. You get the picture. It's a ban.
No, but seriously now, isn't it? You know, everywhere you can use an ordinary smoke-lit tobacco cigarette, you can use an e-cig. So it's not a ban. And I'm a complete fucking wanker.
I have no idea who that person was. I have no idea who that person was. So looking at the other stories, you git. Looking at the other stories, Vince in Australia is basically facing financial ruin now after his latest appeal was thrown out by the courts. He's probably going to end up bankrupt and losing his house. He did say that was probably going to happen if we failed when we spoke to him last year on Vapor Scene. Terrible affair over there, and completely unjustified, really. And the piece of legislation he used was just crazy legislation, something that resembles a tobacco product. Does that look like a cigarette? No. Does that look like a cigarette? No. Dave Dawn's got loads of stuff behind him that does not look like cigarettes.
Have you ever seen an e-cig with a bloody speedometer on it? For God's sake, a cigarette with a speedo. It's not like a fag. Good God, Australia, get yourselves sorted out, will you? These things save lives. You should celebrate the vape, not take people to court because of it. Tosses.
Yes, you should get Mariana Glover over there, and spread the word from New Zealand up to Oz, I think. And the last bit of news there, with the Cornwall County Council or the trading standards sending in an underage person. Now, we don't know what that person looked like. Now, when I was 12 years old, I looked like I was 18. I was 6 foot, and I was a large lad. And I used to get into pubs. I used to get into all sorts. I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying. So we don't actually know how the people looked that went into these shops. Notwithstanding, if they weren't sure of the shops, they should have definitely carded them. And I know, Dave, you've seen your local vape shops card potential customers because they looked young, haven't you?
Well, when Mario, Jill, and I went out wandering around our local shopping mall, the galleries in Washington, for that's where it was. Yes, at Healthier Vape, and this was not actually, it wasn't prompted by the girl behind the counter. They're so used to getting carded for stuff, he just got his card out. There you go. So he was over 18. That said, and this, I'm sorry, but I'm going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Why the hell does harm reduction have to start at 18? You know, if you've got kids that are looking towards using e-cigs rather than using cigarettes, what's the problem? There isn't one. Like Mario was saying last week on Wednesday night, and this was in front of a whole host of people that know a lot about these things, and they all agreed with her. It was a case of, here's a youngster, whether he's be 11, 12, 13, 14, he, she, or it these days, who knows, would be looking at, well, yeah, I might go and get 20 cans at this. Oh, e-cigs exist. Fine, that's where I'm going, e-cigs. And they ain't going to get killed by them. They're just not. If we believe everything we're told, and in certain circumstances I'm tempted to, e-cigs pose a risk which we know is at least 95% less than smoking lit tobacco. So why the hell councils want to go out and do these things? They should be wandering around all the stores and going, just keep it on the quiet, lads, but you know, it's a good thing you're doing. That's what I think, anyway.
Yes, it's a bit of a grey area, that one, though, isn't it? Because
it's not grey. It's not grey. It's not. You shouldn't have to be 18 for harm reduction to start. If a 14-year-old goes to a family planning clinic, 14-year-old girl, they will give her blobs by the yard, all joined together, and bloody rightly so. If kids are active in sex, they need protection. If they're active with drugs, they'll get clean needles. They'll get shown how to chase the dragon. They'll be told where the safe injecting rooms are and all of that. Why should e-cigs be any bloody different? It's harm reduction. It's stopping death. All of this piss farting about saying, no, you've got to be 18. Smoke till you're 18, then you can have an e-cig. Bullshit. It's rubbish.
I think.
Sorry.
No. What you're saying is sensible. What I'm saying is that for trading standards to kind of go to a vendor and say that kind of thing is the grey area. The problem is that we've got kids starting smoking at 10, 11, 12. So by the time they're 18, some of them might have had 5-6 years on fags, which they're getting through the normal channels. There's always going to be the dodgy news agent that will sell them a single, or the ice cream seller, or whatever, or they're nicking their parents' fags, or whatever. And we know that NRT can be given to school children. So what should happen is they should be given access to e-cigs.
12-year-olds can go to Sainsbury's, Tesco's, and other multiple big stores are available, and they can buy NRT over the bloody counter. That's the rules. 12 and over for NRT. Now, look, let's be sensible about this. I'm going to try and calm myself down, sorry, because it boils my pistols, this. If I thought my grandparents, and they're only 3 and 1 at the minute, there's 2 years between them, if I thought that they were not going to have e-cigs until they were 18, if they wanted access to nicotine, and nicotine's no worse than caffeine, we all know that, right?
Yes, we do.
If I thought they weren't going to have access to e-cigs until they were 18 and anybody that supplied them was going to get locked up, you'd see me in Durham jail. I'd be there like a shot. Because the bottom line on it is, I know from my own experience, as far as I'm concerned, these things are better than anything else I've ever used. There's more flavour, there's more vapour, there's more of everything I like about them. And why should bands be told, well, no, actually, you're going to have to smoke till you're 18 before we're going to allow you to have e-cigs? I mean, again, to be right, the data says that no matter what age you start smoking, if you chuck it by the time you're 30 and either quit or move to e-cigs, it ain't going to kill you. So there might be a little bit of that. But why take the chance? If we believe what they told us on these adverts on the telly, that every time you smoke a fag, there's 15 different mutations happening around your body. That's why I'm fat, by the way. It's got nothing to do with what I eat. But if we're to believe that, we don't want to take a chance on the bands having any fags, if we're to believe that. They should have e-cigs straight away. This whole 18 thing is, for me, at any rate, it's completely wrong. It's denying our youth the prospect of a safer future. And I don't think that's right. And government, I believe, should agree with us. That's just me. And I'm right.
And you're unilateral on that.
I am totally, completely and utterly, yes.
Mr. Gerish, what do you think? Yes, hello.
Hello. Right. Well, I'm going to agree with Mr. Dawn on this one. Quite simply because he's speaking an awful lot of sense, which is more than can be said for the people that feel like banning it until you're 18. Because they're just talking at their asses. You know, I'm sure, well, I know for a fact we all found a way of getting cigarettes before the age of smoking. Now, when I started, the legal age was 16. It's creeping up every year, apparently.
Yeah.
You know, but
soon you'll be out by them when you're just about to retire at 90.
You know, I was in a supermarket on Saturday, and I don't drink at home generally, so I don't often go to the booze aisle. But I was walked past, and I saw what's the legal age for drinking now?
18.
18. There were signs up saying, "Do you look under 25?"
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It used to say 21, but now they do say 25 in a lot of shops, even though the legal limit is 18.
Do you have a bus pass?
I've never been carded yet.
Neither have I, unfortunately.
I'm deviating here completely, but I was in a club a few years ago with a friend, and who's got a magnificent handlebar moustache. He got ID'd.
Why?
I don't know. He found it
Was
hilarious. Oh, this is before hipsters were invented.
I well remember being in the States actually with my news editor, and this is an awful long time ago. He was 42 at the time, and he got carded for getting into a nightclub. He did have a baby face, but it wasn't that baby a face. I think to a large degree, there's an awful lot of covering backsides going on here, there, and everywhere. And I think this whole under 18 thing, which, let's face it, the majority of vendors have bought into, is there because of all this conflagration, what's the word I'm looking for? Where they're saying e-cigs are as bad as fags. And there's too many people out there still believe it. And there's too many people out there, as Mario was saying on Thursday, there's too many folks who are convinced nicotine's bad. It's not. There isn't a problem with it. It doesn't bloody matter. And it's time the people that govern us came to realise this. You know, we've had too much of this. We've been flogged as smokers and we're getting flogged as bloody vapours, and it's ridiculous. We have here an opportunity to change the way the world works. In the future, in the 21st century, there's no reason whatever why anybody who wants to shouldn't pick up an e-cig and enjoy the benefits that nicotine bring. Now, they might not be massive benefits. They're no more beneficial than caffeine. But nobody says a word about folks drinking coffee. And here's a question for everybody sitting out there. How old were you when you had your first cup of tea? And how old were your bairns when you gave them their first cup of tea? Because that's a drug even as much as nicotine is. And it's about time, I think, we got off our backsides and told government, enough. No more. This is ridiculous. Stop it. You're being dicks.
Yeah,
Well said.
it's very true.
Yeah.
Very true indeed. I think the thing that is not helping us as vapors is the huge amount of professional lobbying with massive budgets that lobby the government and lobby MPs that are being paid for by tobacco and pharmaceutical companies. And they're the ones that are pushing.
They've got the most to lose. Pharmaceutical companies have got most to lose. I mean, without getting all conspiratorial about it, my estimation of all of this, and it's borne out by all of the evidence. I mean, I'm not just talking off the top of my head here. E-cigs present almost zero risk to the longevity of anybody that uses them. Bottom line. I think it's pretty sure by now that lung cancer, if all that existed was e-cigs, would be a thing of the past. There'd be very, very few instances of it. David Swain has said as much when he was on VTTV Thursday. Mario Glover has more or less confirmed that, and Hayek and various others have as well, including John Britton. So if lung cancer is going to be a thing of the past, does anybody know how much it costs for the drug treatments for lung cancer? I do. And it's multiple thousands. It's tens of thousands for however long a lung cancer patient survives until they finally go. And most of that's profit for the pharmaceutical industry. The NRT side of things is pocket money for them. It's all it is. It's a lot of money for everybody else, but it's pocket money for them. Those buggers are rolling in it. They charge stupid money for drugs just because they can, because they are seen as the cowboys in the white hats. They're the goody goodies. They're the good guys. They're not the bad guys. They're not the white hats. And e-cigs threaten all of that. It threatens their livelihood, and they really, really don't like it. If they did, they'd have got into medicinal pharmaceutical e-cigs years ago. Have they? Have they buggery? Why? Because they don't want the profits from all the other stuff that they make so much, I nearly said shitloads, and I don't swear, of money off. They just don't want that to disappear. Why would they?
Exactly. So more power to curb us as the vapor, because really what they want is us to use cigarettes and other lit tobacco products. So we can then carry on using those drugs. But if you did want to switch and you were a smoker, there are some new devices coming on board, are they not, Matt?
Yes, one of which we're going to see about now.
Hello, my fellow vapors. No, I will not be reviewing this little thingy. What is it with pink? I mean, it started off as a joke, but at this point, every test device that I get comes in pink. But anyway, this is the Play-Doh by Aspire. I actually got to see this while I wasn't in China. And this is the production model. I will be putting it through its paces this week, and I'll show it for you guys here on VTTV next week. Today, we're talking about a different device, and this is the Joyetech AIO. Stands for all-in-one. Upright tubular shape device. Uses the Cubis coils. It would help if I turn it on. What did I tell you when I get back from China? A lot of mouth-to-lung stuff coming, which, for me, it's great. You know, for some of you guys, especially some of the crew here, some of them might not be too interested. But the truth is, if we want to grow our numbers, if we want to get more people to transition, we have to have devices that mimic traditional cigarette use. And that's what I love taking a look at. I love taking a look at new devices that come out to cater to the smokers and stuff that I can use. And probably me and Phil are probably the only OG vapors that still mouth to lung 12 milligram nicotine. All right, let's take a quick look. We're going to go down with the camera. Look at the package, everything that comes with it. 2 mil tank. TPD. Compliant. I don't know. This leak-proof thing is kind of funny. But we'll go with the camera down low. We'll take a look at everything that comes with a package. And we're going to come back. We're going to talk some more about it. All right. I've seen a white one, a gray one, and a black one with mixed colors inside from the samples that I got. I gave one to my wife. She's been using the Equinox T18 lately for the last couple months, and she's been enjoying it. So I tossed one of these her way, filled it up with her liquid, and she seems to be enjoying it. But only time will tell and see if she's going to continue to use the device. It's a great test for me. She is what I call your normal vapor, and if she continues to use this device and it takes over the T18, there must be something to it. There's the device itself. Let's take a look at the packaging real quick. Just your standard Joyetech stuff. Comes with one battery. It comes with 2.6 ohm stainless steel coils, USB cable, and a warranty card and a manual. Pretty simple, all in one box. Let's go ahead and take out the device. There's the warranty card. There's a little information card as well too, letting you know to put a few drops into your coil before you fill it up. This is a manual, and it's in 5 different languages. Again, maybe looking forward to the TPD. And then here's your little box that contains the replacement coils and the charging cable. It also comes with 2 drip tips. You'll see the drip tip that is on there now that matches the body, the gray, and also comes with a clear one. All the packages have a separate drip tip as well. There is the 2 coils, 0.6 ohm stainless steel. And that gets us to the device. Let me go ahead and get some of this mess out of the way. It is, pretty sexy. I gotta admit, it looks really good. And, looks to me, obviously if somebody's been vaping for a while, not a big deal. I mean, if it functions and it works great, that's what we're looking for, right? But, we have to keep in mind that a good-looking device might attract the smoker as well, too. Might bring their eyes to it and say, that's not too bad. I'll be able to use that. Let's get a little size comparison. Here's a Pro Vari in 18650 mode. So you can see it's pretty tiny, smaller than that. Also thinner. You do have a removable mouthpiece. You can use any drip tip that you want. I've kind of taken a white one and put on here on mine. That's a little bit bigger than the one that came with it just because it matches. And then much like the Cubist tank, you just unscrew the top. And there is your 2 mil tank. It looks like it's been built very well. It feels like it doesn't slip from your hands. And I like this kind of coating that they have. Now, when we were at Joyetech, they said that they put a 5-coat layer on this, which, I don't know, it kind of sounds like an overkill, but there might be something there to it. I didn't personally go where they actually paint these, so I can't attest. I can only tell you what they told us. There's your micro USB charge port on the side. This is a built-in battery. And there's your fire activation button. And, from ease of use, I really like this. I can give this to my wife. 5 clicks on, 5 clicks off. You're done. It does have a couple of other features, though, as well, hidden amongst the button. Now, what you're going to see is when I fire it, there's a little color inside. There's also color around the button. But inside the tank, they have a little LED light, which also gives you kind of an indication of how long your battery is going to last as well, too. You see that light staying on afterwards. If it starts blinking, your battery's starting to go dead. And then if it blinks fast, your battery's completely dead. Now you can change the color inside the LED as well too. You click 5 times, turn the device off. And if I long press, you'll see a light come on. Then I can keep pressing. Green, teal, red, orange, purple, yellow, clear, I guess, and no light. So you can actually have the light off if you want to stealth vape it. For me, that I travel a lot and I stealth vape everywhere, having the light off would obviously make sense. 5 clicks turns the device on. And here's the thing that I wanted to see, because everybody said, oh, this is the first TBD compliant device. Well, kind of bullshit, sorry. Because, you know, we have to understand, and which we don't, and I don't think any manufacturer understands, what this leak-proof design means, right? So we do have a 2 mil tank. We know that it's going to be a requirement from the TPD. However, to refill this, you have to remove the coil. And as soon as I do that, let me go ahead and get a towel here ready. Because you know there's going to be some of that. All right, so let me put my towel down here on the desk. Now, so I have to remove this and put the coil down. So immediately we have liquid that is, you know, coming off the coil. So does that make it leak proof? Or, I mean, just because there's no leaks out yet. Here's another thing. So it tells you to put liquid all the way up to the line here, right there. Because obviously when you put the coil, it's going to raise it up. But let's say you forgot and you, went a little bit more up, got a little bit more inside there. What's going to happen is when I put this coil in, the liquid is going to come out of the tank. As soon as I screw it down. Well, I didn't put enough inside there, but let's go ahead and do it. Just for the heck of it. I'll get my hands dirty for VTTV. All right, so I put a little bit too much inside there. I'll put the coil, squeeze it in there. Now look, we have liquid already dropping down from the side. So I'm gonna have to unscrew that, empty a little bit of the liquid out, put it back in. So again, what I'm trying to say here is what defines leak proof, right? And definitely you can see from my hands, this is not leak proof. So is it TPD compliant? I don't know. I guess we're going to have to wait for the TPD to tell us. This also has adjustable airflow as it claims. However, there's not much adjustment here, okay? So we have that top airflow ring, again, like the Cubis. You have air coming in from the side, going down into the coil and coming up with some vapor. I had juice all over my hands. I don't know. I don't think this is gonna comply with the TBD. This is going too long. All right, let me try to wrap it up. Shit, I still got juice coming out of it. So anyway, we do have that adjustable airflow on top. However, like I said, this is clearly designed for mouth to lung. There is no way you can lung inhale it. You can't get enough air in that small design or from the airflow ring around to be able to lung inhale it. Just directly mouth to lung. That's some of the features here of the AIO. Let's get back on top. We'll talk some more details and some safety precautions, and we'll wrap this up. All right, so, you know, one of the issues that I've heard with Cubis users is gurgling when you're refilling. You get that with this as well, too. I just want to make sure, I haven't touched it since I refilled it. I want to make sure you guys hear this. You can see that you're getting that gurgly the first, 5 or 6 puffs. And also, you might get some liquid in your mouth if you don't use the drip tip. One of the things that they did to combat the liquid in the mouth issue with some of the Cubis users is to use this spiral drip tip. I don't know if you can even see that. Can you even see that? Tell me you can see it. Anyway, there's a little spiral inside to prevent spit back from coming up. The problem with this tip that comes with it is that it gets really hot. It's very thin plastic, it's very short, and if you hit the device 2 or 3 times back to back, like I like the mouth to lung, the tip gets very hot, and that's one of the reasons why I changed it. But, having said that, again, every time that I refill it, get that little gurgling at the beginning. Let's talk a little bit about the airflow, okay? Honestly, anywhere where I put it, it's still going to be a mouth-to-lung vape. You definitely can't direct lung inhale, even if you carb it. Now, I've been using this with my 70% PG DIY, but my wife says a 70 VG, 30 PG all-day vape, and she has no problems with it wicking. It's keeping up with 70-30. One thing that I did notice is when the liquid does get pretty low in this tank, just like the Cubis, again, I have been getting some dry hits, so keep eye on the tank. With a 2 mil tank, you know, if you vape like we do, you're probably going to have to refill it 3 or 4 times a day or more, depending on how you vape. What else can I say about it? The battery is a 1500 mAh built-in battery. So from a battery capacity standpoint at 0.6 ohms, again, doesn't really make any sense to lung inhale or try to, you know, run it really hot because the battery will drain fast. This is meant to, you know, designed to be a mouth to lung, a starter device. Somebody's going to pick it up and use it as a cigarette, pick it up, puff on it 5-10 minutes and put it down. Still getting gurgly. But what I tell you, the quality vape is other, just like a Cubis. I mean, I enjoyed that tank. You don't see me using it every day. But for a mouth to lung, for somebody that's starting out, I think this is a really good, viable option. The other thing that I wanted to mention on this, again, on the package itself, it says that it's childproof. Oh my God, that's bright. It says 2 mil tank, childproof, and leak proof. Now, the childproof, I get it because you do have to press down on the cap to open it up in order to remove the shaft and the coil in order to refill it. I get that. That's pretty much childproof. However, the leak proof, again, what is leak proof? That it won't leak? I mean, that's not necessarily true. I mean, even if I keep it upside down or if I puff on it, you might get some liquid coming in through the air holes. But is leak proof meant for while you're using the device or while you're refilling the device? Because if it's when refilling the device, EU, we got a problem. I don't really know. Unless you have some kind of an injection system that's going to go into a proprietary cartomizer that's going to be sealed. And then, you know, when your coil burns out, you're just going to have to throw the whole tank away. And even then, you're mixing air and liquid. The leak proof really doesn't make any sense to me. So by making that claim, I think maybe they're trying to corner a little bit the market, saying, hey, this is the first TPD compliant device. I personally don't think that this is completely TPD. It's one of the first ones that I've seen that's kind of geared to those TPD regulations, but I definitely think it's going to make a good starter kit. All right, color choices. We do have the white and black, like I showed you here, and the gray black that I showed you in the up close. It does come in red white, where the actual sides of it are red instead of black. It also comes in all black and in stainless steel, if that is the color that you have. 5 color choices. One more thing that I wanted to see here on the instructions that I wanted to mention for you. Obviously, you can charge this and use it at the same time while it's charging. It's USB pass-through capable. Again, 0.6 ohm. If you use it as a cigarette, you know, if you use it like we used starter kits, a little bit higher nicotine, I think that you're going to get a full day out of it, maybe a little bit less, depending, again, on your usage. For me, you know, I've had to charge it. I've been using it for the past 3 or 4 days, so every day I've had to charge it at least once, somewhere halfway between. I never let it get down low, you know, where it's the battery's actually dying. So I've kind of charged it halfway through the day, and it lasted me for the entire night. You know, is this going to be something I'm going to use? Most likely, no. I mean, for mouth to lung, you know, I kind of like my stuff. It's definitely another option when I'm traveling for something even smaller, something that I can conceal. And also with that top airflow, you might avoid a little bit leakage inside the plane where you don't have to turn your tanks upside down like we do now. However, I did use the Cubis on the plane with Phil when we were coming back from China. And what happens is the liquid floods into the coil. So even though we don't have any leaks from the actual atomizer itself, when you try to vape it, you do get some liquid in your mouth and some gurgliness. All right. That's what I had for the Joyetech AIO, the first semi-TPD compliant device that we've seen on the market. 2 mil tank. I think this is a good starter kit. A lot of nice options. It's well presented, really nice colors. I like the way it's built. I like the finish on it. A few tweaks here and there I think could make a really viable starter kit for smokers out there. For Vapor Trails TV, this is the Vaping Greek. And I'll be back next week to show you the much anticipated Plato.
You missed that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Just in time, that was.
yeah, it was.
They'll never know. I quite like the look of that. What do you think, Mark? Do you think that look quite nice?
Yeah, I mean, I think that looks not too bad. I have to say, it looks like it's a reasonable device for a smoker who wants to switch, make that first kind of foray into vaping. So it's certainly a lot better than what I had 4 years ago, and what many years before that.
When we were lads,
Yeah,
it
but
used
I
to
got to
come on.
say, we were just watching that, and there was a bit of disparity there about vaping styles.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I think we need to talk about that.
Yeah, now here's the thing, right? Unless you're vaping without a beard, Ridian, someone's vaping style is their own bloody business, to be honest. I mean, you see it an awful lot. People go, oh, why isn't he mouth to lung in? Or why aren't you direct lung inhaling? So what? You know, it's doing what you like. Which leads me on to something else a bit, actually. And I'm quite happy that this guy actually made a comment on the Facebook page last week, talking about how, actually it was aimed at me, how reviews are done on the VTTV channel, or specifically how I do them. Now, here's the thing. I don't have an awful lot of time to spare. So what I tend to do more recently is get a product, film me undoing it, and then I'll update you live, you know, because it's normally a couple of weeks after I've done the actual shot. Now, what I try and avoid to do is looking at other people doing reviews, because I don't want to be influenced in my view and opinion of it in any way. So that's basically that. You know, feedback's always welcome, and we do like your feedback. How do you do reviews? I see Dave there sitting behind me. How do you like to do them? You do a similar sort of style, don't you?
Me?
Yeah.
I tend to read what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
Because that's the promise, you know. And if it lives up to what it says on the tin, then I'm good, really, because if it does what it says on the tin and you can read the tin, then it's not going to come as a surprise. In terms of the IO, however, I love the look of that. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of all the little Bonnie disco lights and everything in the tank and all of that kind of stuff. And as you may recall, I did say when we were through at Durham last week, the guy that was running it all with this huge big CV of stuff he's done has a relative who's looking to make the switch, had tried with a cigarette and got nowhere. So I've got two of them coming. And it's not going to be top pocket. Well, it'll not be Keith's top pocket. It might be somebody else's, but it'll be a slightly lumpy one. And I'm going to give it a try and see if we can't find a way that something like that will do the job. Some people just like a bit more technology, a bit more flashy lightness. If it's something that appeals and it's going to do the job, then I don't have a problem with it in any way, shape, or form. And it's cheap enough as well. It's around about 25 quid, I think, which isn't an awful lot of money for something that looks to be built like a brick outhouse. So, you know, yeah, it'll be nice to see how it goes. And on the mouth to lung, direct to lung thing, hey, it's whatever lights your candle, whatever floats your boat, whatever powers your vibrator, go with it.
Yeah. And there is, in fact, actually debate raging in chat right now, where people are, people are saying direct to lung is no fun for them, and a cam mouth to lung if they, everyone's different, you know.
I mean, I do both. So
we've heard you swing both ways, Marco. Yeah. I mean, somebody said here,
I don't DTL, care. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't care if someone does DTL as long as the room isn't fogged. If you didn't like it, bugger off.
Yeah.
What's the problem? It's not going to do you any harm, you know. All of these people, this was something that got us, because there was a girlie at Durham was a wee bit worried about the fogginess where vapors are. I said, do you never go to discos? Have you not been on something like The Chase or what's that other thing? The one that Anne Doodah did with all the Bonnie lights. Weakest Link.
That's the Weakest Link, yes.
Wherever you can see beams, you're in a vaping palace, because it's coming out of a machine that's doing machine vaping, because all of the fluids that are used in those fog machines are identical, with the exception of the nicotine, to what we've got in these. So if you're in somewhere like that, that's all it is. This was what fascinated me last week when Mario was on about it actually makes your breath visible. You know? It's way, I can't understand it. I just can't get it. I don't get it. I just never have. It's crackers. There's nothing in these things can harm you. So if you want to do mouth to lung, great. Happy for you. Celebrate the vape. If you want to do direct to lung and blow great clouds, great. I'm happy for you. Celebrate the vape.
Speaking of blowing great clouds, Jay Summers has just typed into chat just now that he's just seen the Griffin 25mm. I like the Griffin. I want one. Where do I get it? Please type it in chat because I want to know. Carry on.
Yes. Well, talking about Griffin and other devices, and the fact that you do reviews, I've just got to say, we don't actually class, when we show you something as a review, we class it more as a look at. And for me, when I get a piece of kit in, I will generally use it for a week or anything, just so I know what I'm talking about. But sometimes time dictates that we have to get some footage out because we have a little production meeting, and we talk about what we're going to have for next week's show, and we work out timings and everything else because we try to be, an hour and a half dead on, and we need to make sure we've got content coming up, so we've always got stuff to show you. So sometimes, and we have to wait for stuff to arrive. So sometimes time dictates that we need to show you the actual opening and our first playing around with a bit of kit first. You were going to say something, Dave?
I just wondered where all these meetings were coming from.
That's because you're not there. It's just me and Matt.
We meet.
I do everything by the seat of my pants. If I've got the footage, I've got it. If I haven't, I'll just gob on for a while.
Yes. No, Matt and I are a bit more structured, and we talk all the time anyway. But then we'll sometimes have a little Skype chat at the end of the week and go over what we've got coming up. We try to be professional as can be, Dave. But,
you're professional.
It always falls apart around about now, I find.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dave Dawn's in the room. Anyway, so I believe, Matt, that you looked at something very recently. Yeah,
very recently, in a hurry. Actually, keeping in mind what Dave just said about what's on the tin. This is the tin. Notice there's bugger all on it. So keep that in mind whilst we watch this. Good evening. You join me drinking from the cup of maiden. So, what have I got? Well, what I've got then is I've got the Equinox from CCC. As you're going to tell, we built this because I'll explain in a bit. Right. This was something I was completely unaware of existing. I just happened to be in a vaping shop last week, as one does, and some guy said to me, I'd never met him before, but I was chatting away, and he said to me, "Oh, have you tried the Equinox?" I said, "No, never heard of it." He goes, "You've got to give it a go. It's phenomenal." He says, "It's the best drip I've ever tried." Oh, okay, right, I've heard that before. He goes, "He hasn't got any posts." I was thinking, what? Okay. I'll try one out. So, what's happened is, this actually arrived yesterday, but it was a recorded delivery, so therefore the postman had to leave a card for me. So, I finished work around about 40 minutes ago. I whipped to the post office. I picked this up, and I've literally come in and built this and recorded this for you. So I've not even had a vape off this yet. So we'll see after the build part. Okay, right. Here we are. This is the Equinox by CCC, or I believe Cloud Chasers Club, or Cloud Chasing Club. Cloud Chasing Club. This is the first time I've actually opened this up. So here we go. Let's take a moment to enjoy the box, shall we? We have some nice silver decoration on there, and it says Equinox there. You probably can't really read that. The back says absolutely nothing. So here we go. It wasn't even shrink wrapped or anything. So right, we have here a baggie, and this baggie will contain 1 Allen key, 2 grub screws, and 3 O-rings. There we go. I won't need them for the minute, will I? And there's the atomizer. Okay, and let's have a look under here, because you never know, do you? Nah, nothing under there. Right, okay, I don't need the box anymore. Box done. Okay, so let's have a look at this then. So this is, I believe, 22mm in diameter. There we are. I don't know if that's an adjustable centre pin. Let's get myself a driver of the screw, and we shall see. Pretty tight. I'm not going to force that, so maybe not. We have what appears to be a Delrin drip tip, and let's have a look. We've got some diamonds. It appears we have diamonds for airflow, so that's open there and closed there, and we've got CCC there as well. So this, I presume, will come off. Yeah, there we go. So what we got here is our airflow control. We can see 3 of these diamonds. It's almost a real flush, isn't it? So there we go. So presumably we can have, there we are, both open. I mean, that's just massive airflow, isn't it? It's stupid. And we can have just one open, as we saw out of the box, and we can close this off. Now that's interesting. Yeah, if you close it right off, look. Okay, so I need to spin that right round again. There we go. Right, so that's better. So yeah, we can close that up quite nicely to these points. And you see the other one comes through, the third one comes through on one side there. So you can't, that appears to be the most you can close that off then. Huh. Okay, more looking into that later on. I'm dropping things, I'm almost rushing here. Now this is what's interesting me. The deck. You will notice the lack of post holes and what appears to be something on the deck there, some plastic or something. Okay, so I'm going to be winging this. We got here holes for the grub screws, and we got here holes for the grub screws there. So we got 4 grub screws on this deck. Okay, so what one will assume then is you put a coil from here to here and a coil from there to there. Obviously not across or across that way. So you put a coil diagonally on each side. I suppose you could put 4 coils on if you wanted to, one in each corner, as it were, in a diamond pattern. I think I'm going to go for just 2 coils at the moment. So 1 coil there and 1 coil there, and then I can have the airflow across to it. So seeing as it's the first time I'm going to be building on this thing, I'm going to put a cut here, and then when we come back there will be a coil and it will be magnificent. So see you in a second. Ta-da! Right, here we go. So that's a build. It's not the best build I've ever done, and you'll notice some discoloration on this coil here because I did a test fire just to make sure it was okay before I put the other one on. This is stainless steel. The reason it's discolored is because I had the temperature cut off set too high, so it did actually glow a little bit. It's not exactly neat, but you know, I don't have an awful lot of time, so I'm just going as is. A couple of extra details. I was reading on the website whilst I was coiling this. The actual block in the centre there, you can just see the strip, the positive strip. That apparently is gold plated. Amusing, it says large post holes on the website, but there's no posts. But there we go. Just a bit more further detail before we actually go and try this out. There is some engraving on the bottom there. Yeah, it just says, what does it say? Build Cloud. Build 104 it says. I don't know if that's a serial number or what it is. Yeah, and there's other stuff, but you know, frankly, I don't really care. So, obviously this will go atop here. Actually, one note, building this was more fiddly than I anticipated it to be. Simply because you've got to cut those legs to the right length to get down those holes to get decent clearance off the deck, because you don't want it on the deck, obviously, because it will just short out. But you want it enough height so you've got some sort of drip well there. And obviously you want to line it up with these diamonds as well. Now, I've tried to go for pretty much the center, so let's see if we've actually managed to achieve that. Let's try and get this on here. Right, okay, so yeah, not too far off, I don't think. That one's a little bit lower, but you know what, whatever, that will do. So what I need to do then is juice this up and give it a vape. So okay, wish me luck. We'll see in a minute, won't we? There we go, there was the build. A bit fiddlier than I would like, admittedly. I didn't anticipate it to be quite so fiddly. It's only because you've got to get the lengths right. And it reminds me a little bit, I don't know if any of you guys have tried the Rose. Very similar like that. Now, the Rose didn't have any posts either, than the Rose V2. So, I see I guess they've taken a few design cues from that. But anyway. Alright, let's get this thing actually lined up properly. Alright, fully open. It's on here. What have I got this set to? 410 Fahrenheit, 80 watts. Okay, here we go. That's bloody airy. And frankly, that's doing nothing for me. Just so we know, I'm actually using some One Hit Wonder Milkman. This is the first time I've actually tried this. I've no idea what the VG-PG ratio is on this, if at all there is any PG. I don't know. Anyway, so let's close this off a bit because that's not doing much for me. It's just too airy. Let's do it about halfway. Clouds aren't a problem. It's really producing clouds, but I'm getting truffle flavour. Chuff. Yeah. Yeah, okay, right. More closure. And close it down so it doesn't, as we saw in the close-up, you can't close it all the way down really, because you've got the third diamond cuts into one of the sides, so that is as much as I can close it off. Still very, very cloudy. I'm going to raise the temperature on this because I don't think, let's take it up to 5.7. That's generally where I like to go. That's more like it. Right, before I get myself a dry hit, admittedly I'm temperature controlled, but I'm running also at 570 degrees Fahrenheit. So I just want to get some more liquid into this before we carry on. There isn't much in the way of drip well, as we saw. So you pretty much saturate your coils and be done with it. There's not really a great deal of space in which to put your cotton. So, yeah. Okay, so that's that closed off to as much as I like. I'm starting to get flavour, which I'm going to wash away from the Cup of Maiden. Bloody hell, I'm thirsty. The Cup of Maiden is now depleted. Let's try again. Okay. So, yeah, I know this is very much the first impressions, and as I'm doing a lot these days, I'm going to update you guys live after this. You know, because these don't get recorded the same day as I do a show, you know. Flavour is starting to come through. I guess it's the cotton soaking up the coils, getting seasoned. I don't know. Whatever. Magic fairies, unicorns. So the first thing that springs to mind is how incredibly daft it is to have such a wide airflow and only a drip tip, a standard 510 drip tip. There is no option to use a chuff cap, so you're stuck. It seems to me kind of pointless to have all that airflow, even though it is too airy for me to be opened up. For some it might not be airy enough because of the drip tip is going to constrain your airflow. Okay. I mean, it produces quite nicely. Actually, for the sake of completion, these coils are reading 0.29 ohms. It is 0.5 stainless steel wire. So I've now opened it up fully again. I'm really gonna go for it now. Okay, I'm gonna really deeply inhale this thing and see what happens. Yeah, it's cloudy. Yeah, it's obscenely cloudy. It's not really what I'm after in an atomizer entirely. I like the novelty value of it, and I presume with practice it'll be easier to build on. But I prefer it a bit more restricted. I prefer a little bit of resistance there, you know. So yeah, I've closed it off, and I'm far happier with it like that. So yeah, it's a novel thing. I'll tell you what, I'm running dry already. Oh, good God. This is going to really get through the juice pretty quick. Like I said in the close-up, you could probably get away with putting a quad coil on there, but you know what? I can't be bothered with all that. I think dual cores is enough. I mean, when you're doing temperature control, then it starts to get a bit fiddly anyway. You know, getting dual cores is bad enough. So yeah, let's have another go then. Yeah, and that's the level I like it at, I think. Flavour's coming through quite nicely. I can't tell you if it's really good flavour production because this is the first time I've actually used this liquid. It tastes nice. It tastes very pink. It tastes a milkshake, yeah. So, looking at the website then. Let's run down the specs. It is 22mm in diameter. Has diamond-shaped airflow, fully adjustable in single coil option included. Okay, well we know that. Postless deck with juice well. Gold-plated positive block. Large post holes, which no posts. Yeah, but anyway. Allen head grub screws. Crosshead grub upgrade coming soon. Delrin drip tip, 510 drip tip compatible. Gold-plated 510 pin, hybrid safe. For those that actually still use that sort of thing. I don't anymore. Very large German-made peak insulator, which has an asterisk underneath it, next to it. I don't know what that means. I'll be in the dark because it doesn't actually tell me. And available in black and stainless steel. Now the price of this little unit is $37.99. Or at least that's what I paid for it. It's alright. It's okay. I think for my money, there are better drippers out there. I'm not really... it might appear that I really like cloud chasing, and I do to a point. For me, this is excessive. I don't need this much airflow. Some of you guys out there would be different. You know, this is personal taste. There are definitely atomizers out there, drippers out there, which do better flavour than this. You know, I've done the usual thing with this juice where you put a bit on your knuckle and lick it and just give it a taste, you know. And the flavour there is much more intense than the flavour I'm getting from the vapour. So I can only really conclude that there's more flavour this juice can give me. What I'm getting is not bad. Admittedly, maybe I should have used the liquid that I'm more familiar with, but you know, I was quite keen to try this, and buying a new atomizer and building it is actually easier than cleaning one out these days. Oh, good God. But yeah, I like it. I'm not going to say it's crap or anything, because I don't think it is. But if you're after a flavour atomizer, I don't think this is really the one you want to go for. It's not bad at all. I'm getting good flavour, as I've said 505 times at this point. I'm getting good flavour from this. I think I could get more. And to be honest, I think I might actually try Clapton core with this at some point as well. So when you actually see this live, you might see me vaping with something completely different. But 38 quid. not the most expensive Atty out there. I've spent a lot more on atomizers. I spent a lot less as well. You know, you pays your money, you make your choice. I mean, what chiefly really drew me to this was the uniqueness of it. You know, I've not seen a dripper with that sort of post arrangement. So there's that. There's a novelty factor. I quite like a novelty. I mean, once you've seen so many atomizers, I mean, I've seen a lot in my time. You start to want to look for something a little bit different, and that delivers this. Yeah, so I'm not disappointed with it. I'll vape in it for a while, and I'll let you guys know what I think live. Thank you. There we go. So that was the very rush look I did of the Equinox. Now I've since changed the coils for Clapton coily thingies, and I've got the air hoses fully open. Shall I vape? Shall I vape? Shall I
Vape. Go on, vape, Dibble. Vape, suck it in and blow it out.
Okay.
You know, make your breath visible.
I shall purse my lips across. I shall purse my lips across the mouthpiece, and I shall inhale accordingly.
Do suck it, boys. Suck
yes,
it.
I shall.
Is it a chuff pipe?
I'm getting performance anxiety now.
Or is it a drip tip?
It is a drip tip. Would you mind, sir? I'm trying to have a very civilized vape. It produces vapor. It makes my voice go funny. That was a pity laugh. Admit it.
Tumbleweed going to.
Let's try it again. Yeah, I know.
Do it properly this time.
Yeah, I quite like that. It's all right, that is. Now, the Clapton coils have increased the flavour an awful lot. In fact, Dave will attest to this earlier when I was recoiling it. It was too much flavour. I've kind of gotten a bit used to it now. That was what he said. It was.
That was what he said. Yeah. That's what he said. He said, I'm going to have to get used to this. There's too much flavour. Blood and sand.
Yeah, I still think it's a little bit too airy, though.
No, you can't have too airy.
I can. I'm going to close
something. You want a good lungful. Take it up to 180 watts and just open it right up and go for it.
All right, okay. I'll do that. Let me just top it up first, though, shall I?
I would if I were you.
Yeah.
See, that's why I don't like drippers, because you've got to keep fiddling and putting juice in it and mucking about.
We are celebrating the vape here, Mark. We're celebrating with silly amounts of wattage and things.
He doesn't like to be reminded about drippage is the problem.
Right.
Well, that's why I use tenner for men.
Can you get tenner for men? Can you?
No idea.
A tenner. Right, hang on. Right, I'm 161 here. Okay, that'll do, won't it?
That'll do.
Okay, 161. Look, you can see. Yeah, right, okay. Here we go. Let's burn my back of my throat out.
No, that's a proper vape.
Now do a mouth to lung inhaler.
Feck off.
No, that would hurt. The next question is: can you nasal inhale that?
No.
Oh no.
No, I can't. No. No. No.
I have to say, I have not used the Clapton coils at all.
I'm getting quite fond of them. I've got to be honest.
But you bought pre-made ones.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to make it myself. What's the point in that? 18 milligram, Matt says DJ Rep. No. What is this stuff? 3.
How many?
3 milligrams.
3 milligrams. Hey, funnily enough, this is really weird, this.
Go on.
Since I've gone all mouth to lungy stuff, you know how you do on a morning, you stagger out of bed, you carry your mod to the bog, you sit and you voop. I put 6 milligram in last night before I went to bed. And this morning I got a wonderful buzz out of the 6 milligram. 5 or 6 good lungful talks, and what a buzz. It was fabulous. talk about celebrate the vape. What? It was great.
And the what flavour was that?
That would have been Muffin Man,
Ah, Muffin Man.
which is both my favourite hobby and my favourite flavour.
Yes, I've got
Uncanny.
Muffin Man in this one.
I'm going to have
Yes.
another go at this. I'm getting quite fond. Right, I think it's time to go up a bit higher now.
Get the full 200 watts. Go on.
Oh, all
please.
right then. I'll do it. 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 Actually, it won't let me. 192 is the highest it will take it.
There you go then.
192. Look, I am pressing the button. The upper button. It doesn't go any higher.
Put some more juice in it, Matt.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, make sure it's wet. Lal will
Yes.
tell you that. She likes it wet.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. I don't like it when I get juice on my fingers. It gets all sticky.
Just lick it off.
Shouldn't it? It's a lubricant, and as Marco says, you should suck it off.
I should suck it off.
Pardon me.
I said lick it off, Dave.
Sorry.
Like that. Right, here we go. 190. What was it? 192 on the nose, not up the nose.
While he's doing that, everybody in chat type in yes if you voop on a morning.
Yeah. Okay. It's still producing massive flavour though. I'll give it that much.
Bit
So
man?
maybe coming out of her ears then.
No, I'm not a cartoon, Mark.
Well, I got to say the shot I've got of you on our hangout is quite cloudy currently.
Yeah. See, everyone watching can't actually see that. Speaking of which, you lot might see a different camera angle next week because I'm thinking about moving his room around a bit. So you see all that stuff back there?
Apparently, we've had an effect here.
Have we?
Wraithtech is scared and aroused.
Scaroused. Yes, no, yes, nope. And the afternoon. No afternoon. No, and the evening. What?
I'm just looking at the chat now.
There are some people that voop 4 times a day by the looks of things.
I'd say you'd have to buy 10 mil of Muffin Man. Well, I don't think you can buy 10 mil of Muffin Man, to be fair.
Smallest is 30. The size to get is the 180 milliliter size.
The 180 milliliter size.
The 180 milliliter size.
So,
180 milliliter size.
so not the little piddly thing I've got then. I feel shortchanged.
No, obviously you haven't got a big one.
You're right, I don't.
What's the red one? Is that Milkman?
That's Milkman,
That's
yes.
Milkman, yes.
Because my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
I want to try the policeman because that apparently is donuts with
Oh, really?
marshmallow on top. Yes,
Ah.
marshmallow iced donuts. Can you just imagine anything nicer?
Yeah. 2.
Point. John Abate says the thought of inhaling deeply in a toilet is revolting, but that's why you put a reasonably flavoured juice in you. Oh,
That's what I was getting at with what flavour you were vaping on.
I'm just imagining now people doing juice reviews in the bog. Tastes like shite.
Apparently, Dave, there's an ice cream man as well.
Yeah, I had a look at that. That's my man. No, I'm not. It's got strawberry in it. I'm not that bothered about that.
No, you're not a strawberry person, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not particularly keen on strawberry.
No. And I have to say, strawberry is one of those weird ones. It's a bit like banana. You either get a really, really good one or it's naff. I haven't found a particularly brilliant one. Strawberry Fields is probably the one I'd go for if I was going to get a strawberry vape.
I'm just wondering why you want a banana, Marco.
I like banana vape, but it has
sorry.
to not taste of just artificial foam banana type flavour. You know, like the yellow foam bananas you used to get when you're a kid, penny sweets. I tell you what is nice, and that's blackjack. That is a nice flavour. Nice, aniseed flavour. Yes, I do like an aniseed vape. Yeah.
I do actually, to be fair. I'm with Mark on this one.
Yeah. Anyway, we're coming kind of close to time, Matt. We've got one little bit of ET left, haven't we? So do you want to play that one out?
Yeah, we'll play this out, and then we'll probably prattle for a few minutes, and then we'll say goodbye. So let's play this first.
Hi and welcome to Solom. Today we're going to be looking at this little fella. It is the Punchbox P1 by True Mods. Well, before I get too excited about it, because Tony at Punchbox made this for me, I'll have a quick talk and then we'll go down below, have a look. Okie doke. Okay, so this is the Punchbox P1 by True Mods. Okay, it's measuring from here to here 102 millimeters, and from here to here it is 49.7 wide, and from here to here it is 26.4 deep. Okay, has a Fat Daddy 510 connection on there. We've got the PB logo engraved there, really quite deep engraving on this. And then on the side we've got True Mods, as you can see there. You've got the serial number, which mine is 066. And on the other side we have your Mytech switch, really clicky. This part here is where the original used to have a pedometer. Obviously this version doesn't have one, so that's just a blanking plate there. On the back you have your 4 magnets, and they are really strong for your lid, so I'm just going to get these off and let's have a look inside. There you go. I'll just actually see if I can zoom that in a little bit more. There you go. You've got a Keystone sledge there, and obviously this is a parallel mod, so obviously positive positive, negative negative. Just down the side here, hopefully you can just see that, just move the ribbon out of the way. Hopefully you can see that, just there is where your MOSFET is. Oh lovely. And obviously you've got a bit of ribbon for your batteries. Really simple. Okay, like I said, you've got 4 magnets on the actual body, and you've got 4 magnets on the actual lid here. And also, if you notice, they've got a nice little bit of cutaway for it. And simply just to stick in your batteries, making sure that they're positive. Yes, I've gone for the matchy Sonys there. Making sure they're positive. Straight in, fold over. And that's it. And it really is tight in there, must admit. So that was the Punchbox P1 by True Mods. Okay, I'm going to stick a RDA on this one. Got my straw RDA on this, just to show you what it looks like. Okay. I love this mod, it says. Okay, we'll go back up top, give it a vape and see what we think. Okie doke. Okay, so that was the up and close here of the Punchbox P1 by True Mods. So, what do I think to it? Well, to be honest with you, I absolutely love it. I really do. Tony's workmanship on here is second to none. The wiring is really great. Originally, my first ever review video was for the Punchbox V2, and it was one of the reasons why I got into actually doing reviews. So it came to the point where I thought, yeah, I really fancy a parallel box mod. Just a simple, unregulated parallel box mod. And I was looking around, I was looking at different ones on the market. And I thought, well, I'll give Tony a shout and see what he thought. And he says he doesn't normally do them, but he'd do it for me. So, and this is what we've got. I absolutely do love Tony's work. You can see his heart and soul goes into these. Really simple. At the end of the day, it's all it is a Hammond G box, yeah, and it's not exactly the most cheapest of mods, but I know that the build quality in here is second to none. So yeah, I do like it. What does it perform like? Freshly charged 18650 batteries. it performs really, really well. I do like it. It's unregulated, so obviously you do get a drop eventually in it, but I really do like it. Really happy with that MyTech switch as well. Really nice and clicky. The battery sledge, really, really easy to put your batteries in, especially with that ribbon. He's put a slightly wider ribbon. Normally you get quite a thin ribbon on here, but this is quite a wide ribbon. I'll just take that off to show you again. There's the ribbon, and it's quite a thick ribbon there for your batteries. So obviously it's really easy to get your batteries out. The magnets, absolutely brilliant, and obviously there is absolutely no movement on that door whatsoever. I think the fit and finish of it is absolutely brilliant. Downsides. There isn't that many downsides to it for me personally. One is the plug. No, it can't be helped because obviously these was designed for being a regulated box mod, but obviously I wanted unregulated, so that was a little bit of a compromise. But if I do remember rightly, the tugboat box mods, they have a metal bung there as well. So yeah, and that's about it really for the negatives. Obviously it's got that slight Hammond lean on it if you OCD in, but you can't really tell, to be honest with you, and it doesn't affect any of the performance. So overall, I think it's an absolute brilliant mod. Really do like it. Back to basics. Put your 18650 batteries in, slap an RDA on, and vape away. You're happy as Larry. So I'd just like to say thank you to Tony at True Mods. I really do. I'm over the moon with it, honestly, really am. Okie dokie, so that was the Punchbox P1 by True Mods. Thanks ever so much for watching, and as always, happy vaping.
There we go. That was Solo Mark. What's his Mark Crew? That's it. I want to say Mark. I want to say Mark.
Our Mark.
Yeah,
It's our Mark.
our Mark. Sorry,
Our
our Mark. There he was,
Mark.
blowing some clouds. You know, celebrating the vape and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Celebrating the vape.
You know, this sort of cloudy thing. Yeah.
The question is, was he scared and aroused?
Maybe, I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. I should have topped this up.
Did you get a dry one?
Nearly, very, very nearly. So I'm going to top it up some more.
The question I want answered is, if the e-liquid gets on your skin, does it go sticky or is it lube?
Depends on the application of which my hands are currently employed, I would imagine.
Yes, this is very true.
I mean, if I was climbing up a glass surface, that'd be quite sticky and useful.
Maybe.
But would it be, or would it be too slippery?
Slippery when wet is the phrase. This is what we've got to consider.
Yeah.
He's having a talk. Celebrate the vape. Come on.
Joyetech says it has created a monster. And he says it goes sticky. Yeah,
Ooh.
there you go.
Okay.
So next time Keith has liquid on his hands, be careful because he'd be sticking onto your mods.
Nah, yeah, listen, I've got gaffer tape. I can tape his top pocket up, no bother at all.
He's going to turn up one day in a coat with a poacher's pocket. I tell you, just get it all in there like that.
He came with a handbag last week.
A man bag.
Are you suggesting that Keith would wear a flasher Mac?
No. A dry as a bone with a poacher's pocket. Boom. Yes. Probably people don't know what a poacher's pocket is, do they? Really?
I
No.
do. I used to have a poacher's shotgun years ago. It was great.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. But that's not vaping, so I'm not talking about that.
No. We won't talk about
No.
that. So yes, there you go. What's next?
Well, I think it's time we say toodaloo.
15 seconds.
Yes. Should we leave
Is
him
that
hanging
close
15?
enough to time for you, Marco?
Yeah, it's close enough, Dave. What have you got coming up on Thursday, Dave, or do you not know yet?
Interestingly, there should be some wrappage going on. There may be a bit of a look at a piece of kit that I got over the weekend on Friday. It's got a speedometer on it. Might have a look at that. With a little bit of luck, the IOs will arrive, so we'll get a second look at that. There's all kinds happening at the moment. There's something actually happening on Wednesday that I'm hoping to have two young ladies with me via Skype or Hangouts or whatever to talk about. I can't give too much away, but let's just say it'll be very, very interesting. And a certain Simon might end up looking like the tit that he is. In which case, you'll hear about it first on VTTV on Thursday. I'm so looking forward to this. You've got no idea. I might just have done a sex week.
TMI.
I shall endeavour to tune in from Scotland before I am off to Scotland on Wednesday. So yes, we shall see what happens on Thursday. Tune in and find out. 8:30 p.m. as you know, dear viewer. Yes.
Not
Matt,
9
over to you.
Yeah, I was about to say not 9 p.m. but 8:30 p.m.
8:30.
You know, half an hour before 9. Yeah. Right, I think it's time, innit? Should we say
Yep.
toodaloo?
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye bye.